What's up, Buffalo and surrounding areas? I guess I'd say, what's up, America? It's time to wake up and smell the coffee. What I'm here today to do is to spill the coffee beans, okay? It's time for me to break my silence because I've been quiet for way too long. It's a lot of stuff going on in your own backyard that we don't even know about. And guess what? It's time for us to do something about it. If you saw my page, if you know anything about me, you can go to Chantel Franklin, Wake Up and Smell the Coffee on YouTube, and I also have Recycle the Knowledge. There's a lot of information that I'm giving you guys because I feel as though this is something very important that you need to know. You need to know who your officials are. You need to know what their background is. You need to know what they're about and what they're doing right now to benefit you. And at this point in time, the political officials in our community, they aren't doing anything to benefit us. And we need to do something about that. I've been raising the rooftop for about 5-6 years now, trying to make the community aware of what's been going on. And now people are finally starting to see. And I thank the Most High for that. All right. Because I went through a lot to enlighten the people. You just don't know. I was blackballed. My name was dragged through the mud. All right? They tried to label me crazy. Oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's crazy. And, you know, she's rude. She's disrespectful. She's indignant. She's this and she's that. But no one ever said that she's a lie. No one could say I was lying. The only thing that they can do was label me crazy. And crazy is one thing that I am not. All right? And I just want to let you guys know that, okay? You have to go with your first mind. You got to go with your gut. When you see that something is not right, or when you have that feeling that something is not right, then guess what? It's not right. And that was the situation that I was going through because I was in the midst of all of the action, okay? I was Build a Buffalo's job committee president, okay? I worked with a lot of organizations. What is it? It Takes a Village. Listen, believe me, I was all over the place. CEO, you know, I was doing all the kind of things, giving away clothing and food and whatever, doing your little bottle drives and had my recycling program popping. But guess what? Once I started speaking out, they tried to stop me. They tried to block me. They blackballed me. All of a sudden, CAO didn't want to work with me. All of a sudden, you know, I couldn't get these contracts that I was trying to get. You know, there were certain jobs that the mayor was supposed to give me. If you look and see on my page, you will see that I had a meeting with the mayor. I had an agenda and everything. That's why I say, I'm your mayor. All right, call me your shadow mayor because the man took all of my input and he used it. He was supposed to hire me and he never did. He lied to me. And what he did was took everything that I gave him and claimed it for his own. So the agenda that he is pushing right now, that's my agenda. All right, those recycling bins that you see out there, the green ones in your face, that was my program. I introduced that program to the city because when I came back home in 2009, remember the little blue bins we had when the stuff was flying everywhere? You thought we was living in a damn garbage bin. All right? You would have thought you was living at a garbage field, at a garbage dump. All right? The landfill. That's what Buffalo looked like when I got back. And I saw that things wasn't right. So I had a program that I had embedded in my heart that I wanted to do, that I was actually doing in another state before I got back to Buffalo. So I wanted to bring it to my hometown. Because when I got back, I noticed that it was all kind of stuff. Box Street. Oh, y'all know, y'all got to remember the tires and the beds. And it was a seat from a vehicle, a car. I'll never forget. Not no baby car seat. I'm talking a car seat from a truck, all right, that was just sitting there for years, all right? When I left, it was there, and when I came back in 2009, it was sitting in the same place, and that disgraced me. It made me mad, and that's when I started my just strong activism. That's when I really just started getting out there and being very active and voicing my opinion on what was going on and what I saw because I didn't like it. I made several complaints about the Central Park, and unfortunately, that was how those contractors ended up getting their hands on it. Because we have to remember, when we put in these complaints, okay, and they get a certain amount of complaints, the city can now put in for the compensation of that property, because it's considered to be abandoned. So by me putting in all these complaints and complaining about certain things, the city was able to put in certain type of paperwork to confiscate those properties, and that's why they are now in the real estate business, because they took those properties and they basically confiscated them because the owners abandoned them, and now they're basically selling them right back to us, or not even us, the contractors. They're tearing them down and they're making the land ready and available to build. All right, they're trying to push us out, and they want them to come in. They want the foreigners in, they want those contractors in so that they can rebuild. All right, they're tearing down all of our historical monuments, houses, and things like that. I remember there was one house on Bach Street, right next door to the East Ferry and Grider project. I guess it's their park or their basketball court. And they say that that was an old slave house. It had an underground tunnel. They made sure they tore that house down. Okay, so if we don't know, honey, they're going to take it away. Just like the Michigan Baptist Church. If our peoples wouldn't have fought for that building to stay there, all right, it would be gone right now. But we fought for that establishment to be where it's at. And fortunately for me, that's how I came into the enlightenment of Mary Talbert. And she did something to me. Just reading about her and learning her history and what she did and what she was all about, it just did something to me. She reminded me a lot of me. She reminded me that, you know, there's something, somebody has to speak out, speak up and say something, because if not, nothing will ever get done. We can't continue to remain silent, because if we do, these people will continue to do what they're doing to us. We're in poverty. We're in poverty, and we shouldn't be. You know, our native ancestors, you know, this was their land. This was our land. You know, and everything is just being taken away from us. They're going to try to take everything away from us, like at the drop of a hat, if they can, if we allow it to happen. So that's why I encourage people to know your rights, know your amendments, know what to fight for, know what to say, know what to do. Because one thing that you have to know and understand is when you walk into that courtroom, you have to know how to speak their language. All right? They only speak one language, and that's law. All right? So you have to remember that ignorance of the law is no excuse. So if you don't know the law, they're not going to tell you. They're not going to teach you. What they're going to do is use it against you. So you have to make sure that when you walk into these rooms, you are prepared. Don't just let that prosecutor or public defender speak for you. You have to know what to say so you can tell him or her what to do. All right? Believe me, I've worked the system like that. And it's so crazy because I had to fight, okay? Fight to get myself out of a situation that I believe the city put me in. Byron Brown, Pridgeon, whoever. I don't care what anyone says. These people are going to arrest me, all right, if I would have came to the Common Council one day. Unbeknownst to me, I had a warrant out on me, and I didn't even know it, because people have the ability to go and put a freaking warrant card out on you at the drop of a hat, lie and say, oh, she called me on the phone and said she was going to kick my ass. Now, all of a sudden, that gives the district attorney or whoever the authority to put a warrant out on you, unbeknownst to you, all right? So it was just crazy because I didn't know that I had a warrant out on me, but I was scheduled to go to the Common Council the day before I was notified I had this warrant, right? But something came over me this day. I ended up falling asleep watching a Bobby Hemmett documentary on YouTube. Kid you not, big ups to Bobby, I love him. But I fell asleep watching his documentary, and it was the day that I was supposed to go to Common Council and speak. I don't know if you guys remember when, I guess it was the comptroller Schroeder, he was going against the mayor, and he was, he was just telling everything about the finances and how they were misusing the funds, and it was a whole bunch of stuff going on. So I called Schroeder, like, yo, I got mad evidence for you. I was willing to give it to you. So he invited me to come and speak. So now Common Council knew that I was coming. And at the same time, they anticipated on arresting me when I got there because they knew that I had this warrant out on me that I didn't know I had. All right, because somebody chose to put a warrant card out on me stating that I did something to them that I did not do. First of all, you have freedom of speech. I can say I'm gonna kick your ass all day, but if I don't put my hands on you, baby, it's not a threat. It's not a threat. I have a right to voice my opinion, and my opinion is I'm gonna kick your ass. That's an opinion. Because it's not an actual fact until I break down and whoop your ass. All right. So therefore, they come along and they'll try to penalize you for something that you said, knowing that you have freedom of speech. But if you don't know that you got freedom of speech, then you're gonna fall for that. Okay. So now, all I'm saying is, peep gang, the system is corrupt and it is set in place to destroy you. Because when I tell you, when I went to go turn myself in on this warrant, it was a whole nother escapade that took place, all right? The district attorney was in cahoots with the quote-unquote public defender that was supposed to have been representing me, all right? But come to find out, the public defender had already represented someone else who was going against me and called herself trying to represent me, but she wasn't representing me properly, and I knew it. I felt it. I smelt it. I said, something's going on here, and she looked familiar. So I knew that. I said, this lady was the same lady who helped this young lady fight against me, all right? But they didn't win. All right. So now, come to find out, she was representing me under a conflict of interest, guys. The judge knew that she was representing me under a conflict of interest. The prosecutor knew that she was representing me under a conflict of interest. Everybody knew that she was representing me under a conflict of interest. But guess what? It all came out. Because I'm going to tell you, at the end of the day, the Most High is going to reveal all. All right, you can't just mess with a woman like me of the Most High and think that you're going to get away with it. You can't just send anybody at me thinking that you can attack me and thinking that whatever it is going to penetrate me, because I'm not working for me. I'm working for a higher power. OK, so I am protected. As long as I maintain in my lane and do what I'm supposed to do, I know that I am protected. And my job is to inform you. My job is to inform you as to what's going on in your backyard so that you can do something about it. The only way a change is going to occur is if we initiate it, is if we make it. You know, it's all about us. Like I said before, Buffalo, we are the second largest city in New York. All right? We are the second largest city in New York State. So therefore, what we do, other cities are going to mimic it. Syracuse, you got Rochester, you got Niagara Falls, you got, listen, they're watching. They're watching. So if you take that immunization shot, that vaccination, they're going to take it. Just like we didn't opt out for the school board. We didn't opt out for all that stuff. You feel what I'm saying? All of the other surrounding areas did. But we didn't. Because we stood our grounds. We fought for what was right. It is our job to protect our children and the community, because our children is in the community. We have to watch out for these pedophiles that they're letting out of jail. All right? Cuomo is letting them out of jail because they have an agenda. They have an agenda. All right? So we got to peep game. Cuomo, did some executive orders while all of this COVID-19 and quarantine was going down. He made it to where as though people don't even have to get a background screening to be a teacher in a school, to open up a daycare, y'all. They think they're going to feed our children to these people, and they're going to do it right up under your nose, because guess what? No one knows. No one is researching. No one is looking into this information. Abortion. Oh my goodness. Did you know that Cuomo put in an executive order to allow us to have an abortion all the way to the end of our term? So that means that you can get rid of your baby at 9 months. Do you know what they're doing with those babies? Why would someone want you to do that? Why would someone want you to do that? It should be about protecting life, okay? But no, they're making